Now let's be normal.
Hello, everybody. This is Drop In, Drop Out, the weekly podcast where a mix of 7 gamers come together for an open and engaging conversation all about video games. Tonight, I'm a big wig video game executive. Think of me like Bobby Kotick. You have to give me your best. No reaction from you guys on the Bobby Kotick joke?
No, I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I couldn't.
I need you all to pitch me your best video game adaptation for existing IP. New, old, otherwise, and we have a ton of fun stuff to go over. I've prepared some. Our sweet, sweet community has prepared some in Discord. Our very own live chat will be contributing. We even have a great cast today. I have Kayla with me. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so ready to, in order, give you at the end, the most niche, very specific video game that you've ever heard and introduce you to my community.
Oh,
wow.
Yes.
Books. If you're on an audio listeners.
Good.
It's books.
It's books. It's her friend's books. I also have GWTMori. Oh, I didn't think of anything to nickname you. I got nothing. How are you, man?
Yeah, it's all right, man. Dude, geriatric wet testicle coming in hot. What an honor to be here. Dude, I'm so excited to be with 2 of my favorite fucking people. Technically 3 of my favorite fucking people.
Oh, yeah.
To talk about what games we would create. I mean, it's going to be a great time. And I'm soaring. Chat, alcoholism is not a joke. Be careful. We're here. LFG, brother. Let's do it.
Love it. Love it. And we have a secret weapon lying in wait when we need him on the 1s and 2s this time around. Patrick sliding into position. I love it. Yeah. Finger guns pointing at the camera for audio listeners.
That's a threat. Yeah, I'm here producing the show. This is the first time we're doing it on OBS, and I'm excited. Also, I'm so upset that I could hear it because OBS was, I think, behind by a beat. But as we transitioned into this opening song, Mori yelled, "It's in my ass, brother!" But I don't think that came through on the actual show. We'll see when the recording exports, but I think that might have been just a little treat for me.
I'm sorry.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. We run a very tight show around here. Speaking of, no, I don't have a transition for speaking of very tight things. I apologize. But I want to do a little bit of, I am very, very apprehensive when hosting the show to get too far into the weeds on business. I don't want everybody to come in here and have to listen to me fucking, here's where you can find me on Thursday night. Here's where you can find me on Saturday night. Turn into the Big Buck Hunter Jamber. I don't want to get through. We'll do that later on in the show. I just want to chum it up with my pals a little bit.
Interesting that you got to plug your one thing, though. Can I just say?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
AmazingStreamer.com.
AmazingStreamer.com for all of your JakeTwitchin needs. I wanted to ask you guys, this is kind of related, and I didn't share this with you all, so I'm going to kind of catch you off guard. I want to know about the most recent media that you consumed outside of video games.
Wow.
So I will start with you, Kayla, because I'm sure whatever you've read most recently is top of mind for you. Tell me about what you've consumed most recently.
Well, can I just say, I do read a lot of books, for sure. But I actually would like to take you through the last movie I watched, surprisingly, because I will be talking about books a little bit later.
Sure.
But I will say I am very behind on watching the Studio Ghibli movies. And is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
It's Ghibli.
Doesn't matter.
Ghibli?
Actually.
Okay, it doesn't matter. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, it does matter. I'm sure it's important to them.
Yeah. To a bunch of people.
But I have been new to them. I haven't seen all of them. I didn't really watch them growing up, like in my childhood, but I have been rewatching them now. And I just watched Spirited Away, and it changed my life. It is so good. It is so whimsical. it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. It makes me feel like I'm in a fairy tale. Like basically it's Alice in Wonderland, but Japanese. And it is so good. Have either of you seen it? Are you Ghibli fans?
It's in my watch later list. Like I really want to watch Spirited Away. So now this might make me go do it.
I'm glad.
I've got a dirty secret.
No.
Everyone's going to turn on me. I've never seen any Ghibli movie. Any of them.
On purpose?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Ponyo's a banger.
Totoro, fucking Heron.
Yeah,
I know.
The fuck you
fake fan. I've watched one anime. Heron. Yeah, you know what I'm on. No, I don't know. I've never watched anime really. Like I watched Pokemon when I was a kid, a little bit of Digimon. I started Dragon Ball last year, but I've never gone to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I understand. It's not for everyone. Yes, Patrick, producer, Patty.
Jake, fucking grow up, dude.
Wow.
Grow up and watch.
I know.
Grow up.
I'm fucking
Spirited
up.
Away, best
I'm
animated
fucking
movie ever made by.
Yeah, cancel Jake in the chat. Cancel Jake. I agree.
Lots of lovers in the chat. Lots of lovers for Studio Ghibli. But yeah, Spirited Away, I'm a big fan of like anything that has to do with ghosts and like spirits and things like that. I find very intriguing, especially in this context of like the folklore. I really loved it. So that's the latest piece of media that I've consumed.
Very good. Mori, what you got?
Yeah, absolutely. Something has taken over my life. I talked about it on Spotlight 2 weeks ago, and it's still taking over my life currently. Folks, I have been reading Vinland Saga.
Books mentioned, exclamation point books.
I love that between the two of us, between me and Kayla, I was the one that mentioned a book. Like, you can't beat it. I mean, it's amazing. Vinland Saga has been, there have been these recurring videos in my For You page on TikTok of panels from Vinland Saga for the last probably 4 or 5 months, and I've ignored them. Until about 2 weeks ago, and I said, you know what? I'm going to finally take the gander. I'm going to take the risk. And I have basically since spent $300 on Vinland Saga, give or take. I love Vinland. I love everything about it. It has changed my life. I love stories of people who have done bad things that want to redeem themselves. I find that arc to be very interesting, whether that be Kratos or Thorfinn or whoever you might imagine. Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2. I find these stories to be very interesting. And so Vinland has me completely locked in. I'm currently at chapter 201 of 218. In the last 20 years, 218 chapters have been written by Yuri Mura. And I am at 201. And so I have about 17 to go until I'm caught up. I'm loving my time. That is the media that I have consumed outside of video games, and it has completely overtaken my life. And I adore it. I'm not a manga guy, by the way. Not an anime guy. Love this shit. It's changed my life. So I love Vinland. That's what I'm doing right now.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool. And that's like a big deal. I feel like I hear about that fairly often. Both of the things you guys brought up. Now you guys all know that I can't read, so I'm going to be talking about what I've watched most recently, of course. But I want to roll call it real quick to chat, and I will scroll up and see what you guys all rattle off. Just give me what you guys have most recently consumed outside of video games too, and I'll run down that list as soon as I'm done monologuing. Porn? Yeah, porn. You can start with porn.
Wow,
that's absolutely fine. We'll pass it over to Patrick as well if he wants to chime in. I have found myself in a world where I was like, I desire a sweet comedy. And I've gone back. I am now a season and a half into my rewatch of Eastbound and Down. Do any of you guys know who Kenny fucking Powers is?
No,
I don't.
No, I don't.
I want to be a knower.
God. It's Danny McBride. It's the show that he did that preceded Vice Principals with Walton Goggins, and that precedes Righteous Gemstones. That currently, of course. The currently airing Righteous Gemstones, which is like the kind of play off of like super churches and stuff like that. Really fun shows. And Eastbound and Down is so good. He plays basically like a retired, washed up Major League Baseball player who is kind of a racist, homophobe piece of shit. And it follows his exploits. It is an unbelievably funny show that arguably like has aged not that well, and it kind of makes it even funnier. Like it was politically incorrect when it came out, and it's even crazier now to watch, but very, very strong stuff.
There are a lot of lines from Eastbound and Down. The ones that are still okay, that still are in my day-to-day repertoire. That show at times is the funniest fucking show. But yeah, so there are parts of it that are a bit tough to watch now. But very often, I will say, that makes me, how do you say, wet in my pussy?
Pussy said
correct.
Twice in one show.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Very
That's
nice.
rough.
Very nice.
Season 1 classic.
I've got a list here of stuff that our chat has been watching. Look at these media enjoyers. I've been watching Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. Severance. I have to get on Severance. I know it's right
so
up my
good.
alley.
It's so good, Jake.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I know. White Lotus, which I just finished as well. I'm 3 seasons deep on White Lotus, but I've been watching Eastbound since then. More Severance, Invincible on my way to season 3. Very cool.
Good.
Silo, I've heard good things about.
Okay.
A Drop of Corruption in terms of books. This I've never heard of.
Okay.
I listened to the South of Midnight OST, if that counts. Great bring up. And also, that soundtrack goes crazy. We just did a bonus drop, a messy podcast. In fact, we're trying to figure out how to qualify and quantify what that thing that we did is. We landed on messy podcast because I think it's more unique and interesting than bonus drop. But either way, you can find that on our YouTube channel and in our podcast feeds. It's spoiler-free discussion, and also we talk about just general stuff, what we've been playing, some fun news things going on, just a really, really cool, loose conversation that we had. That was just last night with Mori and Patrick and myself, correct?
It was.
I think so.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's available as well. That's true. There is a video cameo from Kayla or 3.
Yes.
Love to see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. We're getting the drop in, drop out thing really figured out lately. I feel like Cayman is going to pop up on this episode with a little pitch for games coming up as well, which is very, very cool. Excellent picks, my sweet chat. Patrick, have you been watching anything? Do you want to chime in at all? Are you good?
Yeah. I watched White Lotus like you. I was very disappointed in the season 3 finale.
The finale was a little rough, yeah.
Yeah, it was an up and down season for me, and I thought we were finally on the up for good, and then there's so many things happening in that family. I'm like, what are we doing? Why did I just?
It was a slow jack ball rub followed by a ruined orgasm.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
You still can, but
spoilers?
Not ideal.
It's major spoilers, but
no. But
this
also
Sunday,
kind of.
This Sunday, Last of Us season 2 starts, so that's all I'm focused on.
Oh my
right
god, I can't wait.
Give us the clickbait pitch real quick.
Clickbait pitch. Kayla, may I?
Yeah, yes, please feel free.
Every Monday night, twitch.tv/JKGames podcast, myself, Kayla, Jerica. This past week, High Score Weekly joined. But starting this Monday, we're going to be breaking down every episode of season 2 of The Last of Us. And we're probably going to stick around a few after the season ends to talk about next steps, next seasons. Season 3 just confirmed already, so we're going to be talking about that. But yeah, these last 3 episodes that we just dropped were, we did a predictions episode. We did a kind of looking forward episode for game stuff. We did a season 1 recap. So if you're going to be watching, why don't you get that episode from 3 weeks ago for the season 1 recap? Because we go through all the things to get us set up for this week's episode, which is 9 p.m. Eastern on HBO Max. So very exciting stuff. We hope you come along for the ride.
Oh yeah.
This season brought to you by HBO Max. It used to be called HBO, but they deemed it too popular. I'm just kidding. I stole that joke directly from Conan O'Brien. Very good.
Wow.
But I think it is time. I did a little bit of undercover housekeeping there. We pitched 2 different shows that we've done in this first 20 minutes of the podcast.
Apologies.
But I'm ready to get into our main topic because I'm really excited about this. I think this is cool. And let me just go into a bit more detail as far as like what the parameters were and what we're kind of looking for today. The idea of this is what's missing from the video game world for adaptions? What have they come up short on? What have they not tapped into? How can we take this existing IP and make good video games out of it? And I challenged Kayla and Mori in particular and then put it up to our community. And I will say the buy-in from the community this time around, if you're not in the drop-in, drop-out Discord, you got to get in there, figure out how to get into it. You're an adult. I'm sure you'll figure it out. The contributions were insane, like some really cool specific things that we will absolutely get into. And And High Score Weekly in the chat, in fact, says this is a fun topic. I'm really proud of this topic because, to be honest, we kind of let video game news dictate what we're doing a lot of times on this show. We try to get something going on where it's like, okay, well, the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct was last week. Of course, we're going to do a Nintendo Switch 2 episode. Next week's episode, another housekeeping pitch, is Mario Kart Direct's very day of airing. So we'll watch that Mario Kart Direct. We'll probably react to it in the morning. And then in the evening, we're going to do a whole Mario Kart show where not only do we break down that Direct, but we also talk about our favorite video game memories that pertain to Mario Kart. So I think that'll be a fun one. But we had kind of a free choice week. And we were trying to figure out what to do. There were a couple different pitches. I was like, puzzle games? Do you guys like Tetris? Will you play Sayonara Wild Hearts? And everyone told me to fuck myself. And then I was sitting here looking at, yeah, that's exactly what they said, actually. And I was looking at like the cast. And at that time, it was, you know, Kayla and Mori. We were in our meeting together. And I was like, Kayla's so fucking book pilled. And Mori was just talking about Vinland Saga on Spotlight the other day. I was like, what if these guys pitched me games? I was like, oh yeah, I think we're onto something. I think we're really onto something. And I've got a couple of good ones as well that I want to bring to the table, even though I am, of course, the Hollywood executive. Not Hollywood. I'm sorry I said that. The video game executive. I'm the Bobby Kotick of all of this. I'll be giving you the thumbs up or the thumbs down, of course. Do either of you feel like kicking us off? Anyone feel passionate, like they got one they want to lead with?
I'll say this. Kayla has to kick us off because I have to go get dressed.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Kayla,
don't say too much while I'm gone. I want to hear your fucking pitch. Give me 2 seconds. Just give me like just bullshit a little bit. I'll be right back.
Don't listen to him. This is not a Mori podcast. You go ahead and kick us right off. He'll figure it out. He can listen to the other broadcasts, like our VOD watchers, like and subscribe, and our podcast listeners, leave us a review.
Love that insert housekeeping throughout the episode. We really love to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just start with talking about my thought process because you may hear me talk about a franchise or an IP, if you will, that maybe has had a game at some point. But I took the parameters a little loosely here. I think I'm looking more like to the future of games. We've come so far. This first IP that I'm going to give you that I'm not going to reveal yet is it had a game come out on the Nintendo DS. In the year circa, I believe it was like 2002. Hold on, let me see for sure.
It's okay. I can fact check it if you want.
I think it was 2002. Yeah. But anyways, I was also thinking like, what are we missing in today's like current climate of gaming that would just absolutely soar and do so well? And so I landed on a couple things, and we're gonna start with the most relevant in the beginning that people will know. And then we'll slowly trickle down into the more like, what the hell is she talking about? Kind of vibe. But I'm gonna start out with, because I have no idea what Mori's changing into. I'm not bluffing until he gets back. Why don't we have a modern day Daredevil RPG? Ooh. I would eat that shit up. If you guys have seen, I didn't mention in the previous question the answer to, I've also been watching Daredevil on Netflix, or no, it's on Disney Plus, which is crazy.
It's on Disney Plus now.
Which is wild because that is R-rated as hell. Oh
my God. Mori just sat down in a full jacket and suit wearing a big ass chain. That's insane. All right, Mori, you sit there and look nice. Kayla's going to continue.
And amen. Kayla, what are we pitching? Can you give me a
Daredevil.
little bit of... Ooh,
Daredevil.
Fuck, I might bust. Go ahead, tell me more.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe our lovely producer Patrick can fact check me on. I'm sure there was a Daredevil game at some point, but I think that he was mainly the Marvel character has been featured in other video games, but not necessarily had his own mainline story. But imagine like the dark, gritty, like mature Daredevil game. Yes, Patrick.
2003, there was a Game Boy Advance game.
Perfect. Yeah. Nobody, it's been so long. Years and years, over 20 years. So I think it doesn't count. And it probably looks tragic on the Game Boy Advance. But think about like if anyone's familiar with like the current Disney Plus show, like it is very much like the vibes are very dark. It's a big story. Oh, perfect. Yeah. I love this. If you're listening, we got VOD up of gameplay of the 2003 Daredevil game. But you know who I want to make this game?
Ooh.
I want Insomniac to make this game. And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. You know, you do have Insomniac making the more, I would say, more traditionally light superhero game of, I mean, there's some dark moments and there's some like hard hitting things in the Spider-Man games, but tell me a story of despair of this hero who has been through so much and is, leans almost towards like an anti-hero in a way, more like vigilante, less superhero. And I'm a very big lover, and I think it would be really cool. You know, I am the resident like sim enjoyer. What if during the day you're playing as Matt Murdock in his law firm?
Oh my god!
And
cool.
So by day you are a blind lawyer, and think about the possible accessibility features they could add here for our, because Daredevil, if you're unfamiliar, is blind. He's a vigilante, but he uses sonar detection to do all of his crime and do law. So imagine how cool that would be in a video game. I think they could really like expand on what that looks like in our current climate. But yeah, so as day, you're Matt Murdock, you're doing cases, and you can do like side quests where you can like take on more cases if that's what you're interested in. You can go to court with whatever you're looking at and unlock certain missions that can get you more things as you do like maybe a pro bono case here and there, and you can maybe get to fight this extra supervillain because you did this pro bono case and you won. So it's a little bit of like a choice-based narrative there. And of course, you would beat the shit out of everyone, which is always fun in any type of superhero game. But I also want Charlie Cox to voice. I think he has a great Daredevil voice. He is the live action actor for the show. But yeah, that's my pitch. It's not necessarily too intricate as far as what I have laid out, but I think it would be really fun. I would play that. I would definitely love it. And that's my first video game pitch. Mr. JakeTwitchin, would you fund this video game?
I'm funding that video game for sure. I especially love the idea of Insomniac getting a little bit grittier, because like they are, I think, really good at telling like a pretty emotional story in some pretty lighthearted situations. I think like the biggest obvious comparison is Spider-Man for them.
Yeah.
But I think about some of those Ratchet and Clank games go some pretty crazy places, even as recently as like, I think Rift Apart with like the separate time frame or timelines or universes for Ratchet and Rivet are pretty impressive in some ways. They I think they'd really crush it from a storytelling aspect as well. So I'm fully in. I'm funding it. I'm funding it.
Give me
Good
your
job,
money.
Kayla.
Give me your money.
Money, please. GWTMori, give us first, stand up and give us a little 360.
Well,
give us a little.
I have no pants on.
All right. Well, don't give us too much of one. God damn, he cleans up nice.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Tell us what's going on, man.
All right. Here's the deal. I want to say this to start off. I want to say, Kayla, I would fund your game. Number one.
Oh,
yeah.
Ryan Selfie wants to know how much you're giving me. AAA?
Ooh,
what's my budget?
Yeah, AAA. You can have $20 million.
Wait.
Most expensive video game of all time.
Wow.
No, Spider-Man costed like $320 million, I thought.
Oh, okay. I don't know how much video games cost. $500 million.
There we
wow,
go. There
beautiful.
we go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I would have given you $1 million, Kayla, just for the record.
Thank you.
I'd like to clarify that only one of us today came in a suit, and it wasn't the executive. Jake, I'm long dicking you, for the record.
That's quite all right.
Yeah. No. It is. For my first game
I came in a suit before this. You just don't get to see that.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's okay.
It was a bathing suit at the public pool.
Stop.
Was it a Speedo?
No.
Do you remember the Pokemon trainer? God.
Which one?
Give him his hog back.
Oh, you're
give him his hog
episode.
back.
Oh yeah. That's right.
This is from our fixing Pokemon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Jerica hosted. Which shout out to that
Very
episode.
good.
That was a great episode.
It was a great episode.
So good.
I hate when I segue to previous content we've done and Jake doesn't know what I'm talking about. It hurts my feelings.
My mind is very fried from having too much fun. So I don't know what to tell you.
I love that. My mind's fried from alcohol. And with that being said, this evening I'm going to open the bidding with The Order 1887. My God, folks. I'm going to stick with the PlayStation 4 lifecycle. And Jake, don't give me that fucking look, you dirty whore. What you're telling me with those eyes is that you're not giving me any money and you need to give me a minute to pitch. All right? I got the suit on, for fuck's sake. Give me a chance. Give me a chance.
Give him the interview.
This
Give him the interview.
motherfucker goes, I tell him to give me brand new IP and he gives me game IP from 9 years ago?
I mean, to be technical, this is technically brand new IP. I mean, it's not brand new IP, but it's a brand new title.
You have a fan in the chat, Big Freakin'. He's in.
God, Big Freakin', come here. Big kiss for you. The Order 1887. If I may, something that we all talked about on our South of Midnight messy podcast was how much we appreciated a 10 to 12 hour game. We have gotten to a point in the industry where the 60, 80, 100 hour journey is a bit too much for us to consume, between our personal lives and having to get shit done. It's a lot. And I think one of the strong points of the Order 1886 was a shorter runtime. Obviously, there was a rumor on the internet that this game took 5 hours to beat. That really buried the Order 1886. Obviously, it did not take 5 hours. It was between 6 and 8, you know what I mean? But I feel that what it offered was really special. I think that this was perhaps one of the greater pitches for IP within the PlayStation 4 lifecycle. When I look at what came out of the PlayStation 4 lifecycle that was original IP, you're looking at Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima, right? Bloodborne. I think that this is in the upper echelon of that category. I think the Order 1886 was fucking brilliant. I also believe that the ending begged for a sequel. I can't entirely remember how it ends, which is not the greatest compliment to the 1886 game, but it was fucking awesome. I think that the Order 1886 is still one of the best looking PlayStation exclusives from the last 10 years. I love the way that they did cover combat, third person shooting. I loved the narrative. I loved what they did with the Knights of the Round Table, Galahad included. And I want to see the Order 1887 come to life. Obviously, as the developer, I would choose Sony Santa Monica, which no longer exists. I would bring back that original team to do it. I think a huge problem Sony has is they put out something, and if it doesn't do well initially, they kill it. I understand it's a business. I understand that's how money works. But that's why I'm here today to pitch JakeTwitchin on an Order 1886 sequel. The Order 1887. To continue Galahad's journey, to continue exploring this world, and to make some motherfucking money. I think the Order 1887 would do fairly well. Am I wrong? JakeTwitchin, chat, and Kayla.
I deem this the gamble not worth taking.
Damn it! Damn it!
Not fun! Whoa! We got graphics, baby.
These fuckers, bro.
Not funded.
It's so funny.
Also, notice top right, they have a little, you're in jail if you aren't funded.
Right. Yeah, and there's a tomato being thrown at you as well.
Technically, it's
okay.
You,
so
okay, I want to hear, Jake. Why do you think? And I mean, it's very obvious. Why do you think the Order 1887 would not work? If it
because
were
the Order 8.
Yeah,
I think it might work. I'm not taking a gamble with my money on that, and I feel like Order 1886 is a game that I haven't played, but I know that I like already, and I will play it at some point, probably within this next year here. It's been kind of on the docket for a long time, but it's such a sad story about this game where Sony Santa Monica had their hands in it. It was developed by Ready at Dawn. Ready at Dawn was unceremoniously sold off to Facebook, Meta, and then shuttered years later after really making nothing of consequence since this. And they're such a talented thing. I've been playing Daxter on stream lately, which is I believe developed by them as well. Like they did Daxter and that Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, or a couple games in between this and that. But I'm looking to make a big ROI here. Okay.
For the record, I said Sony Santa Monica. I totally meant Ready at Dawn. I mixed them up because Ready at Dawn did so much Sony Santa Monica IP. They would have done both of the God of War PSP games, but I meant Ready at Dawn. It's a good moment to clarify. Jake,
and I think they did Golden Abyss too, right? Is that right? Uncharted?
Ben did Golden Abyss. Ben,
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be hoping to make my money back on that investment. I'm trying to fucking triple up.
Damn it. All right. Well, you know what? I don't
1L.
love I don't love what you've said, but I don't hate it either, and I can exist with a not funded. By the way, chat seems to disagree with you. Just for the record.
High Score Weekly did say he agrees with Jake, but he appreciates your passion and your outfit.
Yeah, I mean, I put on the suit just to get not funded. Kayla, what do you have?
No, my turn. I'm bringing something to the table. Now, listen, I'm passing on Mori's and I'm self-funding a little passion project.
Indie project.
Right? Yeah. And I don't have a whole lot to go off of, but I'm trying to bring back the wonder years of movie-based tie-in games that review at a solid 7 out of 10. And I'm starting off strong. I'm going to say this, and everybody in the world is going to be like, oh yeah, why doesn't that exist? And truth be told, to a certain extent, it does exist. There are some, you could go get like an iOS mini game version of this, or some weird little spin-off of one of the side characters on like the Nintendo DS or something like that. However, why the fuck is there not a game based on the movie Frozen? Why is Frozen not a 3D platformer? It makes too much sense. The best you've got so far is Kingdom Hearts. All right. Kingdom Hearts 3 does Frozen pretty well. It kind of just retells the story. But I'm telling you, a nice, simple 3D platformer, playable Anna and Elsa and Olaf sections. They all control a little bit differently. You got a hub world for the Kingdom of Arendelle, I believe is the name of it. And then you can hop into actual levels, collect random things, accumulate brand new powers. Perhaps you strengthen Elsa's ice powers and then work on Anna's wind or fire powers, whatever element is popping at the time. I think there's something to it. I think there's like some spin-off games and stuff like that, but we need like a traditional. I just want this game to be called Frozen, and you know what you're fucking getting into.
Yeah,
Disney
and you
Interactive,
get to
baby.
Embrace the joy of sisterhood, and I love that so much. Oh my god, bangers.
No, there's
when it comes to my checkbook, I say let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. I'm not gonna do that.
Find a link to our Kickstarter in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Let's jump into, I want to start kind of at the top of our submissions from our Discord, because I think there's some really strong stuff in there, and I want to give credit where credit is due. And I feel like usually we kind of go down these things and we kind of like, I'll give you a little bit of like so-and-so said blah, blah, blah. I want to really dig in. Coalmine says, how has nobody made a Cowboy Bebop spiritual successor yet? That would absolutely fly off shelves with today's gaming community preferences. Sure, you got plenty of space RPGs, you have Guardians of the Galaxy, but those are nothing close to Bebop. Have either of you guys watched Cowboy Bebop?
I've not.
I haven't, but I've seen a lot of the I know it's like, I mean, it's an anime based in the early 90s. Is that right? I think that's when it came out.
Yeah, I think so. And it's very like sci-fi coded. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm newer to the anime world, so I'm kind of working backwards from like more recent to older. So I have not seen this, but it is on my list to get to, and I know it's very well beloved.
It is often recommended to me based on its music. They say, Jake, you should start there. When I say I haven't watched anime, they go, okay, just watch Cowboy Bebop and get back to us, which is very smart. Now, I've got a couple more. Basic Fun has 2 for us. Squid Games Management Sim. You're basically the head of Squid Games, and you get to see everything play out from a god's eye view. You choose the games and where to send the recruiters and all 426 contestants, which I think is very, very cool. Also, a Severance-based visual novel. You're a new severed employee for a department different than the main cast. You have an innie and outie cycle where you make different choices. The events of the show are playing out in the background, which I think is very, very very, very smart. Let's do one more, and then we're going to head back to Kayla for her second pitch. A Last of Us survival game, multiplayer co-op where you build a settlement, like 7 days or something of the like. Scavenge, hunt, build, get some horsies. Ooh, I would throw so many hours into that game. This is from Big Wolfie, by the way. A Game of Thrones MMORPG. I know nothing of the universe, but I think it would be awesome to have players create their characters in specific families with certain aesthetics. I think that makes so much sense, and it's such a varied and diverse world where you could have that world has like very distinct biomes. I think it would be a fun one to exist in. Could capture that Lord of the Rings online player base that's still playing a 20-year-old game.
Sure.
Hey, Jake.
Yes, I love that so much.
Patrick?
Why don't we hear from a member of Dido that's not here real fast on a game pitch? How does that sound?
Oh,
Whoa.
I love that.
Am I killing a plan of
absolutely
yours,
love
or
that.
did you?
Not at all.
Great. Let's
Not at
hear
all.
from one.
Produce away, my king.
Dumpster boy.
Oh, look who it is. It's the dumpster boy. You thought you
I
could
don't hear
get
audio.
rid of me, but you fucking can't get rid of me.
Chat probably hears audio,
That's
but
right.
we don't. That's okay.
I wasn't supposed to
Gotta
be
roll.
here. Now I'm fucking here. Now you're going to have to listen to my idea, what I think would make for an incredible video game. Now, while technically, yes, I suppose what I'm bringing forth to the table was at one point in time a video game in the 90s for the Super Nintendo, I don't really necessarily count that as accurate. You're probably thinking, and I can hear you now saying, what the fuck is Dumpster Boy talking about? What I want to talk about is not the 1994 Jim Carrey The Mask, Exhibit A. Okay. You're right. That's not what I'm talking about. Now, that one did have a video game adaptation that came out, and that video game adaptation was, from what my understanding is, not fantastic. No, I'm not talking about the movie. What I am talking about, on the other hand, is something maybe a little bit spicier, and that spicy thing is actually the origins of the 1994 Jim Carrey classic, The Mask. It is the comic by Dark Horse Comics, which you probably know is the off-print of DC. But here's the big difference is the mask that you know, and the mask that, well, started it, looked more like this. Yeah, you see that right there? Not super PG, huh? What about this? Not PG either. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, Dumpster Boy, what are you talking about? There's the mask. You look at him. He looks goofy as shit. And that's true. He does. My thought process here, hear me out, is a video game based on the comic book mask. Now, it's still going to play well, I mean, all things considered, because your power-ups will literally just be becoming the most ludicrous thing possible. The mask is known for turning balloon animals into Tommy guns. The difference is the movie adaptation does so well, is that when he does that, he just shoots, like, air at people, supposedly. In the comic, he literally turns people into hamburger meat. So we're talking, this is going to be a hard capital M-rated video game, guys. It's going to be ultra violent. You're going to have a bunch of insane power-ups in an open world, and you're going to run around and cause absolute fucking mayhem. Because the truth is, the mask, while in the movie, is technically a superhero. In the comics, quite the opposite. It's actually quite rare that he does anything that is actually nice. There are times, sure, such as Jim Carrey's character Stanley Ipkiss, which he ends up biting the bullet because his girlfriend Cameron Diaz, which in the comic, she just blows his fucking brains out because Stanley's kind of a huge piece of shit. So really, you only have like one maybe potential character that could be a hero. The rest aren't great. I mean, more anti-hero. There is a good moment. I know, Mori, you're out there, you're watching me, you're listening, and you're excited by this. Guess what? He does kill Nazis. So we could technically have the big villain just being fucking Nazis, which is very prescient for today's climate. So what I'm thinking is we get a beautiful video game. Maybe, I don't know, I'm a personal fan of cel-shaded comic book graphics. So some cel-shaded comic book graphics, ultra violence, and you get to run around in a green mask. And let me tell you, I think I just wrote the greatest video game of all time. And I know you're all sitting there and you're all thinking to yourself, no, you probably didn't, boy. But I don't listen to anyone but myself. And what myself said was that you guys could suck my nuts. Oh, that's right. I'm fucking done. Bit's over. I'm out of this fucking bitch. Ooh. All right, back to you, Jake. I'll let you guys finish an actual episode. I know that you're probably dying for that. So, deuces.
Wow. Wow. I'm so bought in on turning Nazis into fucking hamburger meat. Like, I'm all the way in, Cayman. Cayman, Jesus fuck, I love your pitch. God, I want it.
Fucking legend.
Not came in with a post-credit scene.
Yeah, the post-credit. The production value there was so good. He could have just recorded a fucking video, but there was him like showing graphics of the graphic novel versus the scenes in the movie. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Wow. I'm bought in.
If he's gonna give it all, that's for sure. JakeTwitchin, would you fund this game?
I'm funding this game for sure. Give him
wow.
225 million.
He probably doesn't need as much.
That's a solid amount.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him a little less.
Fund it!
There's fireworks on the screen.
Look at that.
Funded, and so it was. I love that. Very good. Wow. Listen, while we're on the topic with Caymans, I'm going to read Cogs. Cog wrote a novella, I believe is what I would call that. Is that a term? Like a small book?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And a part of me really wants to say he should have wrote less and we're going to skip it, but he took the time. I'm going to go for it. It's got a little bit of an excerpt. Let's see. A game adaptation of Forever War by Joe Haldeman could be incredible. I'm awful about reading, so I technically never finished the book, but the concept is excellent. This is the opening of the plot summary from the wiki. William Mandela is a physics student conscripted for an elite task force in the United Nations Exploratory Force, being assembled for a war against the Taurans, an alien species discovered when they apparently attacked human colonist ships. The UNEF ground troops are sent out for reconnaissance and revenge. The elite recruits have IQs of 150 and above and are highly educated, healthy, and fit. The new soldiers complete training and immediately depart for action via interconnected collapsers that allow ships to cover thousands of light years in a split second. However, crucially, traveling to and from the collapsers at near light speed has enormous relativistic time effects. I believe it's relativistic. I learned a new word here live on the podcast. So essentially, these soldiers get sent out to fight in this war, but because of relativity, they come back to Earth and decades have passed. So they get sent back out, and that relativism works both ways. Now their enemy is much more advanced than last time, survive, get sent home. This sounds like a lot of like the idea of like the 3-body problem. Do you guys know this?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would make a good video game, but a very similar idea of like they're kind of fighting a future war type of thing.
Also
but they
based on
say
the
it could
book.
be yes, indeed. Story-focused FPS a la Titanfall 2 could be more akin to Mass Effect or something else. All I know is the concept is awesome as well as dramatically layered. Very good. Patrick's here.
I want to bring in a thing from the chat. High Score Weekly says, Cog passionately writing a long script to pitch an adaptation about a book he didn't finish is really funny. It's so funny.
I agree.
When you put it that way, it's so funny.
That is funny. But
We
we
love you,
love
Cog.
our sweet Cog.
We love our sweet Cog.
He's very passionate.
We
Jake?
do indeed. It's been we're gonna not fund that. He made me read far too much.
Wow.
Easy.
Not funded.
I would fund it.
Not
Cog.
funded.
I would fund it as a fellow.
That's
book
okay.
knower.
Well,
Man,
Bobby
so-
Kotick says no. He says, show me your bosom. Cognitive clips.
We have to go. The podcast
What's the jiggle physics in No Man's War? What is it? What was that? I forget.
He says, lock the door behind you when you come into my meetings.
Jesus.
Kayla, give me another pitch.
Well, not speaking of jiggle physics, actually the complete opposite. I'm going to delve into the book territory as well, but don't worry, you're not going to lose. I'm not going to lose y'all completely, okay? What do you guys know about a little franchise called Percy Jackson and the Olympians?
I might bust.
I
It's
know
my
about
first
this.
book I ever read. Come on, Kayla.
Yeah,
Nice,
so
little baby Mori.
let me just tell you about this. There was a Nintendo DS game for this. I don't know. It looks horrible. I looked into a little bit of box art. You know how there was this phase of time where like I think it was like the Nintendo DS specifically, where they were just like straight ripping out like IP like movies that had no like substance to them, but it was like they were just porting in the movie. Oh, there it goes. Perfect. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief is the first the first book / movie, and there's now also a Disney Plus show that is newly done that is actually really good. But basically, the whole premise of this is that you are a demigod, and you learn pretty quickly that that is your life, and you're half god, half human, and you get yanked into all of these situations where you're having to fight all of these different monsters and figure out your. It's actually pretty deep for being a kid's book too, because you're having to wrestle with your parentage at a young age. These are kids; they're like in their late teens, I think. But my pitch for this, what I would like to see, the books are great, by the way. If you haven't read them, I think there's 5, and the movies are also pretty good. They didn't age super well, but the show's up to date. But the premise of the book is you have a bunch of illegitimate children from gods, of like a lot of them. And I want a hub world. Give me Camp Half-Blood MMO where you get to create your own character. You do the whole character customization. You get to pick, or you could randomize it if you wanted to, like what god or goddess you descend from. And you get to kind of go to your specific house in Camp Half-Blood, and you mingle with, in the hub area, like Destiny, think Destiny. But I want Compulsion Games to do this, who just did South of Midnight. I think that art style would actually look really interesting and be a little bit different than what one might expect. One might expect a more like hyper realistic, like another good option would be like Naughty Dog to do this. I think they would do a really good job as well. But I think it would be cool to see in the specific art style of think South of Midnight, or like the more like painted stop motion type of deal. I think that would look really interesting, and it could appeal to a lot of different types of people, a lot of different gamers. And then I would like there to also be an option to play through some story beats as well that are like straight from the book, or maybe even depending on what god or goddess you choose to descend from, you could play through like that story. And so what you choose in your early game determines what kind of story you get to experience. It would be a pretty big game because there's a lot of canon like gods and goddesses, and then you get powers that are associated with your god or goddess, and you get the skill tree that you get to develop. You get to meet friends. Yeah, this art style I think would just look really cool with this premise. Imagine you're Hazel, but you're ripping like lightning or Poseidon waves. Like, I just think that would look really cool. Yeah, and then you got you'll have your little companions. Depending on, you could maybe choose your companion. I think that would be a fun aspect. You have different like totems. Like Percy has a pin that turns into a big sword, and so that could be a really cool element. I would love this. And I think like one thing I would like to open with, let me give you the opening scene of the game before the character creator. I know this is kind of off rails from the art direction, but hear me out. If you're a Civ player, you know what I'm talking about. Think like the Civ 7 or 6 opening credits where it's like really bold and like loud. It's like, oh, and you get like the narrator that's like very strong. Give me Morgan Freeman narrating this also. And giving the pitch. Yeah. In a world where, that's not my word for it.
Jake has a Morgan Freeman, right?
No. We can't do that here.
In a world, I can't stop saying
No, that
I got it a little.
No.
That ain't it.
It's the Civ 7 opening, and you have Morgan Freeman narrating, and you get a brief description of like the gods, and it has big, cool animated scenes like Poseidon, and when they were on Earth and they sired demigods. You see like the Poseidon, and like, yeah. So that's my pitch for Percy Jackson by Compulsion.
Very good.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to fund this because I'm going to be putting the money into the DS game that Patrick put B-roll up of, which, by the way, is the funniest B-roll I've ever seen because it was taken from IGN, and it's like this super widescreen B-roll, and it has no less than 9 logos on it. There's a logo that says Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief, the video game. Then on the bottom it says Nintendo DS, 20th Century Fox, Activision. Then there's a hard fucking coded IGN watermark watermark on it right above our drop in, drop out watermark. It's so heinous.
Look at these
It's my
graphics,
favorite
they're
thing
so
I've ever
funny.
seen. Kayla,
Yeah.
you're dominant at this. I will fund this game. In fact, that sounds really rad. And I think that Compulsion Games is the right vibe for it. Like thinking about that mythology with their art style that they've kind of developed for this. I would love if they stuck to it and like don't reinvent the wheel there. I think that's super strong.
Yeah. Thank you. I would love to play
good.
this. It's a passion project. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, chat. Also,
I love it. Mori, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, hit me.
All right, folks. I brought this suit out today in hopes that I'd get some money. I was bullied on my last go around because I did not create an original IP. I did not make something that's never been seen before in games. I originally had a pitch for a Killzone game. Fuck that shit. I wrote a brand new pitch while you guys were talking. Holy shit.
An active listener. Very good, Mori.
Bro, I want to make some fucking money today. Folks, not really folks. Patrick, would you pull up some B-roll of Hellboy Web of Word?
What a shit
folks,
game.
if you don't know.
Is there not a Hellboy game?
There is a Hellboy.
Oh, is it old?
No, it's fairly recent. There was also an old Hellboy game titled Science of Evil, which would have released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. However, Hellboy Web of Word does an excellent job of embodying the art style found in the Hellboy comic books. The Science of Evil was more an effort to like replicate the movies. I think that this is a much better decision on an art style for a Hellboy game. With that being said, I have a signed poster of Hellboy Web of Words, signed by Mike Mignola, up above me, which you can't see, the original author of Hellboy. And what am I pitching today? I'm pitching that the same team that did Hellboy Web of Word would do a game titled Hellboy and the BPRD, Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. I think that some of the low points of Hellboy Web of Word, of which I completed, a game that I enjoyed quite a bit, but obviously had a lot of problems. One of those big problems was that it was a roguelike. And I think a lot of times the environments felt a bit generic, a bit uninteresting. And so for Hellboy and the BPRD, I'm going to be pitching a traditional narrative game that is guided, with story beats that are set in stone, environments that are handcrafted. And I'm going to be making this game a turn-based game. For those of you wondering,
got a lot of variety so far in these pitches.
I'm really trying, Kayla. I'm trying to make some money today. Some of the characters that might come alongside you in this turn-based game would be Abe Sapien, Liz Sherman, Lobster Johnson, Roger, Krause. Some of our favorite characters from the Hellboy comics and the BPRD comics. I am going to keep Upstream Arcade as the developer for this game, despite what I felt was a bit lacking in Web of Word, because I believe that they understand the art style of Hellboy so much and so well. And I'm going to make a turn-based narrative game with all of the BPRD members, with Hellboy leading. And I think it's a phenomenal pitch, but Jake's about to tell me that I'm not funded, and I'm fully prepared to take the blow.
Unfortunately, you are wrong, sir, because I'm funding that game with
With
a $20 million budget.
All right,
it's a small budget.
It's tight.
Right,
I need proof of concept. Turn-based system, you should be okay. I think you're going to be okay. This is an indie game, but I want it.
Wow.
I'm ready for it. I like it. I like turn-based. I think you sold me there. I think that's very, very good. Mori, you got a win under your belt. Congratulations. I've got a couple more I want to pull from our sweet, sweet Discord, because there are wins on top of wins in here. Andrew on Carts, our beloved AOC, our Discord moderator extraordinaire. Immersive sim Mission Impossible game done by Arcane Austin.
Wow.
Unfucking believable. If time travel is not possible because he's worried about what happened with Zenimax, then give us Machine Games, as they're fantastic about making games about punching fascists, which is incredibly true. Very, very good. He also wants an open world Nausicaa, Nausicaa, Nausicaa of the Valley. of the Wind adaptation. Would likely draw comparisons to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but would distinguish itself with more involved gliding, using powered glider that must take advantage of the wind currents and steer at higher speeds, and a gigantic bug creature that stampedes around when angered but must be mounted when calm.
That's
I know nothing about this.
It's a Ghibli film.
Ghibli.
That makes sense why I don't understand. Yeah. Very good. Heroic Headgear comes in with an open world Green Arrow game. Take the mechanics of Dying Light 2, the parkour, the bow, the grapple hook specifically, set in a city environment overrun by whatever villain gang, maybe Black Mask or Deathstroke. First person instead of third person to stand out from Spider-Man and the Arkham games. I love the idea of first person for that. Maybe push a third person sometimes like Indiana Jones to show off the cosmetics. I'm very in on that. I'm funding both of those, all three of those, both of AOC's, as well as Heroic Headgears. Very, very good. The Dan Good Show says, give me an Avatar, The Last Airbender game in a Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor style. The new Avatar slowly developing their powers while traveling across the nations and adding more benders to their crew to learn from. I think that's very rad.
Yes.
I've never seen Avatar. I got an idea. Go. I know. A bad man.
I was just going to say I support this very much so. I did jokingly say in our Discord that I was going to steal this because I did kind of have the idea. And there is a game in production for Avatar that I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's not this and it sounds better. So I fund this one. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Very cool. Let's do, no, you're quite all right. Let's do one more from our Discord, High Score Weekly, friend of the show. Anything Ghibli is an easy answer. Miyazaki is anti-tech, and they were kind of one and done with Ni no Kuni. I forgot that they worked on Ni no Kuni. However, Ghibli adjacent because you can just base off of the source material book. Breath of the Wild style open world Howl's Moving Castle game. You're a normal boy or girl and you want to be a magician, and Howl has a reputation, of course, so you work your way into trying to be his apprentice. It's like Hogwarts Legacy cross Breath of the Wild cross Howl's Moving Castle.
That's funded.
I already see funded on my screen. Patrick says funding.
Well, he knew you haven't seen it, so you weren't equipped to give it the fund. I guess, well, in reality, you would want to try to get it funded by somebody who knows nothing about it.
Angel investor Patrick Schweigert of the Drop In, Drop Out and Spotlight Games pods and Clickerbait. Yeah, this motherfucker's everywhere. He's got cash, to say the least. Let's talk about a couple of mine. I kind of like the idea. I got less pitches since I'm the guy with the money. I'm just going to greenlight mine. And I want to talk about just some ideas that I have. I really want a Planet of the Apes RPG, but based kind of like the original Planet of the Apes movies, not so much the newer ones, where they are an established world. Like these are monkeys and gorillas that can fucking speak and have societies and governments and whatnot. Amazing. I think there's something really strong there where you are crash landed on this mystery planet and you have to kind of make your own way. I really, really like the idea there. I think Schindler's List, I'm just kidding. That's a fucking joke. I don't think that would make a very good video game. Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, if you're familiar, is a movie that a lot of people equate to being like a visual video game. The mechanics lend itself basically to like a roguelike where you are sort of trying to survive the day or defeat the aliens or the monsters, but you can do so by living and dying and repeating. I think that would be very good. And then I don't know exactly how to flesh this out, but it's in my head. Do you remember what Max Payne did for slow motion? I do.
How could I forget?
Bullet time. That's what I'm saying. I want a game that's based off of Tenet. And I don't know exactly how it would work, but I really like the idea of existing in a timeline that's moving backwards while you're sort of moving forward, and you can adjust things. I think that this could be something really, really cool. And I don't know how to implement it. I feel like we give it to Remedy, though, because they're really good with weird shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it could be very good.
I think that's a good pull. I think that would be really cool. And I could see that being, well, if it's Remedy, it's not going to be, but it could be a good indie game, I feel. I think that could be really cool.
Oh, yeah, it could be. I bet somebody nails that kind of like technology first.
Patrick inserting himself
as far as like
here.
how to exist.
I've inserted myself.
Visual.
I've come up with a couple ideas. Yeah. Can I share them?
Oh, please pitch, sir.
The first one, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna reveal what it's from at the end. But what we don't get enough of, I started going down this route when Kayla was talking about a lawyer sim as half of the Daredevil game.
Matt Murdock.
We have fucking what's the guy? Ace Attorney.
Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix Wright. Thank you. There's just not enough lawyering in video games, I think. And I think a fun way to do it, to bring it in, is to also bring some fun antics. So we're not, we're spending some time in the courtroom, but we're also getting into maybe, I'm thinking like mid 2000s licensed video game where like there's weird random platforming sections for no good reason. But it's going to be called Slippin' Jimmy. Because this is a Better Call Saul game.
Yes.
We're playing as Jimmy McGill. And like what better IP, I think, than to have some really weird things that make no fucking sense than Better Call Saul. Of like, for some reason, he's platforming across the top of a grocery store for like, we don't know why. It'll make sense in the game. But like that peak, like 2007, I'm thinking like Batman Begins type licensed video game. So that's one.
Mr. Rockstar, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, Kim Wexler, definitely a playable character. There's all sorts of skins you can get. There's a lot of, maybe there's like a mini game where you make some meth too, even though, he didn't really ever do that.
Right.
But, so that's one. And then another one. Exactly. Another one based on the show Angel, as in Angel and Buffy.
Oh my god, the Buffy spinoff?
Yeah, well, so this is going to be a spinoff to the Buffy game on PS2, but this is called Angel Investigations. So you play as Angel, and you got your crew. You got Cordy, you got fucking Fred, you got all the people, you got Wesley, and you're going on all sorts of it's a Monster of the Week video game. So like each mission is a new thing that you have to go solve and figure out, and it's a beat 'em up. It's like you're playing as Angel. You have a vampire mode because Angel's a vampire. David Boreanaz, who you're talking about, High Score Weekly as Angel, who is also, to bring it full circle, in the Dido music video for White Flag, or maybe Thank You. He's in one of the Dido music.
In our music video.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, Slippin' Jimmy and Angel Investigations are my two games that I've thought of so far.
Wow.
Funded.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
You've been funded.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Funded. I clicked the wrong thing.
That's what happens when he's in the creative chair and the producer chair at the same time. I would fund that.
All right, I want to do one more quickie, and then I'm going to give it to Kayla. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Survival horror Cloverfield game, loosely based on a different POV from the first 2008 classic film. If you don't know Cloverfield, it is eventually revealed to be basically a fucking kaiju movie, but it is essentially New York City is attacked by a massive fucking monster during like a random night, and it just follows like a party of characters in trying to sort of escape the city where everything is going fucking nuts. And I think we are maybe Chad can correct me, there might be some good stuff out there that already exists where like the scale is done right and you're escaping these like giant fucking monsters, but outside of God of War, I can't really think of things that get that scale correct. There's like a Call of Duty Zombies map that has a pretty big robot in it, but I would love something where you are sort of trying to escape like not a war-torn city, but like a city that's in absolute fucking chaos from something otherworldly that I think could be really good.
Sea of Stars has
I also have another
where you do that. But
oh, interesting.
It's only a part of the game.
Sea of Stars.
But
that's fair. A rare pitch from chat, my game pitch, a game where you clean, polish, and shine Jake's bald head. You can put stickers on it, add wigs, paid DLCs lets you take him on dates. It would be called Fuck My Bald Stupid Life. Coal mine's very good. Funded. Yeah, funded. We're funded. Oh, too good. All right, Kayla, you got one for me?
I do. I'm going to give you two quicker ones, and then I have one last one that I can either do all three together or we can space it out. But my last one is the very niche one that has a little tiny bit of exposition.
Two, and we'll come back to you one more time.
I'll do my two quicker ones. I don't I kind of actually just thought of this, and I don't know what sparked this in my brain. So it's not fully fleshed out, Mr. JakeTwitchin, my funding. So
Alright.
here are the vision and purpose. What we're saying here. Give me. I'm going out on a limb here. Maybe we don't have any knowers. Give me a Grey's Anatomy dating sim.
Wow.
I would love that shit. Give me a
Good
Grey's
go.
Anatomy dating sim.
Oh,
Think like, I mean, dare I say, think in like a what would be a good style for this? I need help from the crowd. Like I'm trying to think who would
I
do
feel
this
like
well.
indie dating games. Like I don't think this needs to be a
Yeah.
well-known team. Like you can
Yeah.
kind of like think of like I think you lean into like the campiness of it and you get like the Colonel Sanders dating sims or like the upcoming date everything type of thing.
Yeah,
Like
or you can even do like
McDreamy,
a
but he's animated. Oh, I don't know. There's something.
yes. And then you get to like pick. So you can match make other members of the cast if you want. Or you can do like you can select, you can also we stand LGBTQ representation, so you can pick whatever gender
Yes.
you would like
Yes.
to date and to support. I immediately for some reason it came to my mind, this is not a dating sim, or is it? I actually don't know. I've never played this game, but like maybe like Goodbye Volcano High, like that kind of art would look kind of cool.
Yeah.
Patrick, you had something to say. Are you a knower of Grey's Anatomy?
Somewhat. I know I've seen
Yeah.
like I've probably seen a combined like 30 episodes just by walking in and out of the room as what Rose has been watching it. But what I thought of was, so Ryan Selvey got there. There was this like surgery game series during the Wii time, but I can't think of what it is.
Trauma Center.
Trauma Center. Have this be half Trauma Center, half Dream Daddy.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, there is something here.
This is something. This is funded.
Mr. The Human Plays said you
Mr. Human the Plays, please say his name correctly.
I paused. I had to think about it. Said you kissed in the supply closet, that patient died because of you. Yes.
Wow.
I love that idea. Yeah. I love that got funded without proper, I don't know who would do it, but somebody could do a great job.
It's crazy we've never gotten a Grey's Anatomy game before in some capacity.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it's been going on for like ever.
I feel like there's got to be something on the
Grey's
App
Anatomy
Store.
game, but
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. My other little smaller one that is a personal passion of mine is.
We lost her.
Oh.
No, I was pausing for dramatic
She's
effect.
grabbing a Funko Pop of what?
Jack Skellington.
The
Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm sure that he's in a game somewhere, or he's probably in fucking Kingdom Hearts or something. But I don't know that they have their own game. Let's do this. Let's have. Also, sorry if you hear it just started storming at my house. If you hear thunder, which is topical. I mean, for like a. Part of me wanted to come to you with like a horror Nightmare Before Christmas game. Think what's the game that all the people play? Oh God, what is it called? Not Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. But that's not what I'm going with. Just think like you could do a horror game with this. But we're going wholesome. You know how I'd love to do this is the developers behind Little Nightmares. And give me like a side-scrolling puzzle game where you play as Jack and friends, and you're playing through the story where you're just trying to save, you're trying to capture Santa, and you are playing as Jack, and you're this like tall, lanky character, and you're having to like walk around. You're doing side-scrolling, you're solving puzzles, you're picking up your members of your team, and it's in the arts of like Little Nightmares. I think that Tarsier Studios, I believe, is who did Little Nightmares. That is something that I would love. And
it's funded.
If you wanted to make it spookier.
Patrick, I need you to bring up footage of the PlayStation 2 or Xbox game Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge. It is different than what Kayla is describing. So I'm funding Kayla's game, but I do want to talk about how fucking rad this game that no one has ever heard of or played is. This game is, I think it's really hard to find too, but it is like a hack and slash beat 'em up, often compared to Devil May Cry. It's like God of War meets Devil May Cry, third person. This game fucking rules.
I remember
it has no
game.
business being as good as it is.
I've never heard of
you
this.
Played it?
I did play this game. I rented this from Hollywood Video at some point.
Yes.
I've never seen this.
Oh, What you guys didn't see behind the scenes is that I have a little Discord server with a little area called Write That Down, and I just wrote down something for myself, and it says Nightmare Before Christmas PS2 game, because I gotta stream that immediately. I love that fucking game, but I haven't played it in so long. It's
You're welcome for
so
bringing
cool,
it back.
but I love that. I love that. You did great. You did great. Mori, take us on a trip.
God, I'm excited. And Jake, I'm gonna take you on a trip. Let me clarify for the audience. Are me and Kayla both giving one more pitch after my current pitch?
If you have two, I've got room for you to have two more pitches.
I've got two more pitches. We're gonna start with our first one because the last one is so fucking belligerent that I have to save it for last. Folks,
I love it.
You're wondering why I ran off camera. 1 was to take a leak, and 2 was to put on my next outfit. Folks, we said it a little bit earlier in the fucking pod.
Yes.
I'm a
third outfit change.
I'm a dedicated.
Tell the
Vinland
audio
slut.
Listeners, baby.
Guys, the audio listeners. Jesus, I had a stroke trying to get that out. To the audio listeners, I'm wearing a Vinland Saga shirt. I've gone from a Concord shirt to a full suit to a Vinland Saga shirt. Folks, I've been reading a lot of Vinland Saga, and it's created a wonder within my heart, a wonder within my soul. And so for my next game, I'm going to pitch a video game centered around Vinland Saga, but specifically the character of Askeladd. For those of you that don't know, in Vinland Saga, this is a brief spoiler. You're going to learn in the first 3 episodes of the anime. You're going to learn in the first 14 chapters of the manga. It's not a big fucking deal. Get over yourselves. It's 20 years old. Askeladd kills...
Wait, what's his name? Askeladd?
Askeladd. Say it.
Askeladd.
Boom.
Askeladd.
Got it. Askeladd.
I heard Askeladd. ASSGLAD.
Assclap. Future Warm Corpse, the character of Assclap? Yes.
Assclap. Well, we're going to center on Assclap's journey. Specifically, what he did before he killed Thorfinn's father, Thors. Askeladd has a little buddy named Bjorn, and you meet him within the manga and the anime. Bjorn is like his right-hand man. I really want to explore their journey through the wars that would have existed in England, Wales, Denmark, and more. Specifically, the genre that I want to tap into is real-time strategy, and I want Firaxis Games to do it. We're talking about the Civ folks. Yeah, I think that they can do a really, really good job with this. Look, half of Vinland Saga, at least its first arc, is the art of war, right? How do you approach combat? Which direction do you take? How do you flank the enemy? And I think that'd be really interesting in a Viking setting, right? With the ships and the naval combat in an RTS strategy. I think that it would just fucking sing. This would be set around 1000 AD in Denmark, Wales, and England, as I said. And it would be the wars that existed within that time between the English, the Wales, and the Danes. I think it would be a great time. I'm not going to go in tremendous detail about the story. I think that that's something that would be written by people more qualified than me, preferably like Yuki Mura. The author of Vinland Saga would have a tremendous hand in this. But I think as a real-time strategy game, I think it would really lend itself well to the narrative of the first arc of Vinland. Most of Vinland Saga is about getting away from violence and war and things of that nature. But I think that if you enjoy the first arc of Vinland, I think a real-time strategy game centered around Askeladd and Bjorn's journey through the wars of Denmark, England, and Wales would be really great. And I think Firaxis Games at the helm, they do real-time strategy better than anybody else. The only people that I would maybe throw it off to are the people that did Halo Wars, because I think the people that did Halo Wars were so fucking talented and so fucking brilliant. But ideally, Firaxis Games is doing a medieval game RTS centered around the events of Vinland Saga, the events that happened before Vinland Saga with Askeladd and Bjorn. Jake, are you gonna fucking give me some money?
I'm fucking funding it. I think Firaxis is a smart pull. I think RTS for that genre is a smart pull, and I think that the name Assclap is going to pull in a lot of. I'm just kidding.
God damn it.
No, I know Vinland Saga is something that I hear about a lot, despite not having any video game IP whatsoever. And the fact that it's a beloved book and now a beloved series, I think that is easy money into old JT's pocket. Bobby Kotick, happy.
Jake, I would stop it. I would like to counter his pitch. I would like to compete for this funding money because
this fucking guy.
Because I have
love
a
this.
different game that I would like to pitch based on a character named Bjorn. Please, everybody, picture 2018's God of War, a reimagining of the character. We took him from the kind of hack and slash, not as serious of a tone, into this over the shoulder, telling a gripping story. I want to do the exact same thing for another Bjorn I know, and that's Bjorn from Peggle 2. I think the story of Bjorn, the unicorn, could really be something special that no one in video games has ever seen before. I think this is the Bjorn story that the people want. I think this is the Bjorn story, more importantly, that the people need. So I feel like this is the gamble worth taking. Jake, do I have your fund?
Jake, don't encourage this bullshit.
Oh
Jake.
my God, Peggle, Bjorn, I need it. And think of all the pegging you could do.
Yeah.
It would just be too much fun. It would just be too much fun.
There should be some sort
Mori?
of pendulum for this, Ryan Selby said.
I regret to inform you, Patrick is now funded. Bjorn is back on the table.
God,
But Mori can still have his game.
Bjorn.
It's a different game.
No, I don't think so.
Thank you, Kayla.
I think I was Bjorn to play that game.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
All right, let's round out the last of the community suggestions, which pound for pound have been very fucking strong. I've got a list of some quick hitters that are elevator pitches from Squanky Joinkers. We have a Marvel MOBA. Easy money for them. Should have happened 5+ years ago. That is extremely true. Just like a straight up League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm clone, but you have Marvel IP. Think of like skins and whatnot in worlds like you see in Marvel Rivals, but in MOBA style. I think that would be insane. A Doctor Who Indiana Jones like could be fun. Some cool stat resets to be done with regenerations. Game of Thrones Choices Matter RPG like CD Projekt Red. The two best Story of Ice and Fire. What the fuck is the name of it? I think it's a story
It's
of
a
Ice
song.
and Fire.
It's a song of Ice and Fire.
A Song of Ice and Fire games are mods for Crusader Kings and Bannerlords that should be fixed. An MTV Challenge the Game, which is a reality TV show, the king of all reality TV shows, in fact, in the style of the Olympic Games, but also with more drinking, fighting, and fucking. Correct.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick, do you like the challenge? I feel like it's come up twice, and you have. Wait, Kayla, you like the challenge?
I love the challenge.
I've seen some
this
of the
game.
challenge. I haven't seen the challenge in like 15 years, but I am a knower of some capacity of the challenge.
Yeah. What do you know about the
Kayla, talk to me.
What's the other show? The Real World. The Real World, yeah. So you could do like half of the game be the real world and half of it be the challenge. I would love that shit.
Oh my God.
And Road
you
Rules.
guys are
Road
insane.
Rules.
So I was
Road
much more of a,
Rules?
especially
Yes.
real world versus road rules, which I think is kind of what evolved into the challenge, kind of. Maybe.
That is correct. The Real World Road Rules Challenge was what it used to be called, and now it's the challenge. So I am with you guys. I used to be a fan when it was first coming around. I loved my early seasons of the Real World and the Road Rules, and then eventually I fell off of it. And then like 7 or 8 years ago, I rediscovered it on MTV while like flipping channels in like a rare point where I had cable. And I was like, holy shit, they still make this. And I went on a fucking spree of like binging. That show never ended. It's on like season 41 with a bunch of spin-offs. You still watch it, Kayla?
Yeah, I still watch it. I don't watch some of the spin-offs are not my jam. Like they do like some celebrity All-Stars. Yeah, I don't like those.
But Champs versus Pros and stuff like that.
Yeah, I watch the mainline like MTV ones.
Me too. We need to podcast about this. This is insane.
We do.
Very, very good. Peak.
There's some knowers in the chat too. Wow, thank you.
I love it. I fucking love it. Princess Mononoke in the style of Tears of the Kingdom of Breath of the Wild. This is just Andrew on Cart's idea with a movie I love more based. Leftovers, Disco Elysium. Like, Jake is not going to like this, but playing Disco Elysium is the closest a video game has ever made me feel to watching The Leftovers. Let Tom Perrotta and Damon Lindelof, creators of The Leftovers, cook up a story to tell in the Leftovers universe for a dialogue-heavy RPG. Funded. Easy funding. Meet Me in the Bathroom, a book about early 2000s NYC indie music scene, and it's a band management sim. You have to form an indie band and compete for gigs in the likes of like the Strokes, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and LCD Sound System. Very interesting. The Dumpster Boy has Debbie Does Dallas. I have no idea what that means. He just wrote that in the thread. I'm sure it's great. And then Mr. Human the Plays, I believe is his name. For some reason, it's typed wrong in the Discord. Why is there not a modern Sailor Moon beat 'em up game in the style of River City Girls? TMNT got theirs. Power Ranger got theirs. Double Dragon got a new one. Sailor Moon is the perfect IP for a beat 'em up, and they've only had one from 1995. They have fun items, tons of characters, wild ass 90s anime story, and that sweet, sweet nostalgia. Don't even get me started on the style. There's so many opportunities for customization. I also feel like the story could be great in a relationship management way, since all the Sailor Scouts have very different interactions with each other. I would invest in this game ASAP. That is easy funding. I think Sailor Moon is like this like eternal IP that I feel like lives forever, even though it like comes in and out of popularity. I always think of it like it's kind of like a more advanced like Hello Kitty, you know, it's just like persistently in the zeitgeist to a certain extent. I love that fucking pull. Very, very good. I'm going to bang out my last two suggestions that are, well, I got three here. And then I'll give our final pitches to Kayla and Mori to wrap things up, unless Patrick came up with anything else. So I really want, I don't know how to make this. I want to give it to, I guess, the team that remains at Activision that's working on Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters 3 and 4 currently. Give me a Street Sharks rollerblading game, extreme sports, but also a beat 'em up. So you're in these worlds with enemies spawning and you're doing tricks and getting points, but you're also just like punching the fuck out of people. And like, I know what's that? Yes. Or what was the game from a while back that came out that was like you shoot people and you're on a skateboard? Chat's gonna help me.
Oh my god,
Chat's gonna help me.
Roller Dome.
They're on it. Roller Drome. Yes, I think is it Roller Drome? I think
it's a Hellskate. Yeah. Hellskate.
Roller Dome. Roller Drum. Who could tell? Hellskate is a new one that came out as well. That's also kind of in there. But yeah, I think Street Sharks would be so strong and it could be so cool. And especially if it's like sort of a smaller scale game, like you release that for $20, you're going to pull on some really specific nostalgia from some people and probably make a fucking banger. I'm funding it. It's mine. A survivor game, and this is something that I'm surprised people haven't brought up yet, but there are a lot of really good games that are built in Roblox already for some of the stuff that we're talking about. Some of these fucking kids on Roblox are making shit that is so good. There's a game called Outlaster, which is just Survivor but built in Roblox, that is so fucking good. It is unbelievable. You play the social game, you vote people out, there are hidden immunity idols, there are mini games. It is so fucking fun. It is so fucking fun. Oh, what the fuck? Look at this B-roll. The B-roll is me streaming the Survivor game for the Switch that came out 2 years ago.
I searched Survivor video game and you were the third option.
Wow.
So I had to do it.
So funny, dude.
Look at that.
Yes. This is my big breakout YouTube VOD. This has
Look
like 10,000
that.
views or something like that. That's so fucking funny.
So amazing.
Yeah.
I had to
This
do
is
it.
this is like a 10 episode thing, and this Survivor game is so fucking funny too. It is really bad, but it's super fucking fun. Unfucking believable. Okay, my last pitch is cheating. This is like Mori's first two pitches, okay? This is what I want back in the video game world, and it's kind of bullshit, but here's what I want. Now, when I explain this, I want to explain it in the right order as I reveal it. I don't want a continuation or a spiritual successor to, I do want you to play these games with plastic instruments, and they play the same way as Guitar Hero Metallica and Rock Band Green Day. But what I want is a spiritual successor to the Beatles Rock Band, where this game is made with love and care with different bands throughout the years. So the difference between the Beatles Rock Band and Rock Band Green Day is the Rock Band Green Day game is just a fucking collection of Green Day songs for Rock Band. Whereas the Beatles Rock Band was a game that is built using the Rock Band engine, but it recreates the story of the Beatles and goes on like trippy little fucking dreamscapes and stuff like that. And it brings you through like famous appearances. You do like the rooftop concert. You end up in a yellow submarine under the sea. This game was made with a deep fucking passion for the Beatles, not only music, but their career. And I would love to see them get back to not only curated track lists and music selections for these games, which I think is missing from things like Fortnite Festival, where you can piecemeal all of your stuff. A lot of like the beauty of Guitar Hero and Rock Band of old was discovering music from curated playlists where it was somebody's job to bring these songs together. Like I never would have heard of half the bands that I actually enjoy if it wasn't for those Guitar Hero 2 and Guitar Hero 3 and Rock Band 1 track lists that exists. But I'm just thinking like off the top of my head, like a Daft Punk Rock Band or something like that brings you through all these crazy music videos that they've done in the past and the animated sections, or like the Gorillas, I think would be a great one as well, where you can get really trippy. There's some very cool stuff that they can do with that. And I hope that we get back to some very like hyper specific rhythm based music games. But yeah, Beatles Rock Band, very fucking special to me. Let's dish it over to Kayla for her final pitch. I'm funding my own game, by the way.
Okay.
Funded.
So here's the thing. Every game I've pitched, not to rag, has gotten funded, but this one, here's the thing. This one is my favorite. Also, did you lose me? Am I here?
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
Continue.
My internet is not doing so well because it's just started absolutely downpouring outside. But this is my favorite book series of all time. And I am here to pitch this game to you without telling you the title until the end, because I don't think any of you would know this either, except maybe Patrick's wife, probably. Rose is a knower. Essentially, it opens up. You've got this girl and her two sisters. They're living in poverty. They're in this cottage. Their mother has died. Their dad is like a deadbeat. He is just a bump on a log, not doing shit to help his family. It's a bad situation. You got these three daughters that are trying to figure it out and trying to help their situation. The youngest daughter is the one really like bringing in the food for the family. She's going out with her bow. She's very skilled. Think Ellie, The Last of Us, with a bow. When she's doing the hunting, she's bringing in the dinner on the table. And then all of a sudden she sees this giant wolf that's like, she's like, oh shit, if I bring this home for dinner, this is going to be incredible. We'll be fed for like ever. And it's like very cozy woods. You're in a cottage, whimsical vibe. I'm thinking Bethesda could do this in like a Skyrim style. And she kills this huge dire wolf looking wolf. But then she realizes a bunch of wolves come out of the forest and she's in trouble because they morph in front of her eyes. Think animorphs. And they're humans and they're fae. They're magical fairy fae people. And they're like, you killed our king. And so we're taking you with us. You gotta go. And well, at first they're trying to kill her whole family. She's like, oh my God, no, don't kill my family. And she is able to convince them that she'll go with them as long as they spare her family. And so then you launch into this whirlwind of a toxic love story between the girl who is being forced and captured and has to stay in this castle. Think Beauty and the Beast, because this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, actually. Fun fact. And you are around these magical high fae beings that there's a court system. So you have the spring, the summer, the winter, and the autumn courts that all have different. They all have. What is this B-roll? Yes. Thank you. This is actually, he was accurate. He knows. He's a knower.
Wow.
It's called A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yes, I know this. Yes. This is smut.
It's not, and that's why I waited till the end to say that. And so they're right here. These books right here. There are little things that happen, but honestly, the first book's very tame. But all that to say, that's the main storyline, beginning of what happens. There's a lot that's uncovered. It is a pretty traditional, like, chosen one. Like, she discovers that she has powers. No spoilers. That's like very early on, and that she's half fae, and so she has to figure out how to get out of this situation that she's in. But it touches on a lot of really like big mental health topics and abusive relationship discussions as well. But it's very much like fantasy. That's why I picked Skyrim for the developer of this, because not the developer, Bethesda. But in this like Skyrim type style, Elder Scrolls, because there's also elemental magic depending on what court system you're in. So I'm thinking like you get the option to go through some story beats of the main storyline, but you can also do like a custom character situation. You get to choose. It's open world, and I'm thinking that it's turn-based combat is what I'm thinking, because of it just feels like it fits the style. So the things you're fighting, there are like mythical creatures in here. There are like wraith type creatures that are really scary sounding, and there's this trio of death gods that can like imitate your worst fear. Think the what's the thing from Harry Potter, the thing in the wardrobe, whatever. It's kind of similar to that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's all. And I know that it's a very niche specific fandom, but there's a lot of people out there that enjoy this. So I think if they made it a video game, it would be very successful to get the Book Talk girlies to play. And I am wearing a sweatshirt. To the stars.
I love it.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's
I got
go.
questions. Is this still being worked on, or is it a complete story? Like, is there still sequels coming?
Well, here's the thing. If we want to go really deep, the author actually writes multiple different series that are under the umbrella of a world. So there's opportunities to go further. But technically in the main series, there is 5 books, and she does have more going. They kind of center around, so the first 3 books focus on like 2 sets of characters, and it's kind of like an anthology a little bit. They shift focus to other characters. Patrick, what do you know about ACOTAR?
I don't know much, but the kooky rhino, who is that video I was showing, it's on YouTube. The description of their video is she Sarah J. Maas or Sarah J. massively overrated? So there's controversy happening. But then she spent all this time animating the entire story, it seems. So I think this would sell. I think this would sell.
Thank you.
So much.
You have magical.
Kayla, will you tell
artifacts?
me about the Dead Trove?
Yes, the Dread Trove. Yes.
Oh, sure.
Basically, one of them is the mask that you see right here. Basically, she has a mask that she can wear. This is kind of spoilers, but I'm not saying who it is for if you want to read the books. She can put on a mask and raise anything from the dead. So, like, it can be like animals, it can be people. She can literally put it on, and then she literally can like raise up like things from the dead. And then there's a harp, which actually you have the harp. So imagine you got this cool mask on. Oh, there's shorties in this game. Jiggle physics.
Someone's trying to get funded.
And I'm just kidding. Don't objectify women. And so you're wearing the mask, and then you have the harp, which actually manipulates time. So that could be a really cool mechanic in the game as well, depending on how far we get into the story. Each string that you pluck takes you to like a different, like back 5 years, forward 5 years, backwards like 500 years. There's a lot of, and then I actually forget what the last one is. There's 3 items. I don't remember what the last one is.
This seems like I would read the Wikipedia plot summary of this entire series one night at like 4:30 in the morning, where I'm like coming down from my high in bed. Like,
wow.
Hey, wait, using context clues. At any point with when Mori saying that it's smut, and you tell me about this Dread Trove, does she revive a lover? Is there weird?
No.
Oh, yeah. Damn, I thought for sure there was gonna be a little bit.
But you could. I mean, if this is an open world to like create your own story situation, the possibilities are limitless. And I went on a yap.
So true.
I'm glad that you guys let me indulge in my series hyperfixation.
I'm funding it. I think it's going to engage a bunch of people. I think it's very, very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kayla, you have no reason to apologize. I'm about to ruin the show in these last 10 minutes. For the record, High Score Weekly said, I read them all. It's not technically smut. So, look, here's the deal. I want to say this right now. I got bad information from the back room when I was in Atlanta. Patrick told me that it was smut. So I want to say this right now. This isn't my fucking fault. Patrick, get your ass in here and defend yourself.
Funded.
Did we talk about ACOTAR while you were here? I don't think that's true.
No, we did. We did. I
don't think we did. But here's the reason I don't think we did. I mean, I guess you might be right, but Rose very much, because I've never read them, but she's like, she read it because she kept hearing that it's smut, and she's like, this book, there's like barely anything in this. This is not smut. It's like, everyone's like, oh, it's more in the later books. And it's like, okay, there's like 2 scenes in the later books apparently.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, this is
right.
This is a story. This is a rant for a separate time, but I do think there is a connotation with books that women enjoy at high regard, especially fantasy, that is just labeled as erotica when in fact it is actually
there's just like some fingering
and reading material.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're fingering, it doesn't count if it's fingering. Oral must be performed.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Patrick, for reinforcing patriarchy.
Mori, I'm pretty sure you were talking to somebody on the streets of Atlanta, maybe at the MARTA station. We did not talk about ACOTAR.
Looking for a fantasy smut series, he opened every conversation in Atlanta with.
Yes.
That's so funny.
If there's not something throbbing, it's not erotic fiction.
Correct.
No.
Swanky in the chat says P-Swag pornography Criterion Collection closet episode when, which I think is a really good idea.
Yeah.
At some point, I can tell a story that completely reshifted my entire world a few months ago that involves finding porn, but that's not for tonight's episode.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard the story is really good.
It's
my conclusion to my pitches. Thank you, everyone. I'm so glad to have all of your.
Absolutely rolling in it. We love to see it. Listen, can we get if you're in here in the live chat, let's get some Kayla Sparks in the chat for her perfect funding. You know, we love to see it.
Let's do it.
But without further ado, GWTMori. You got one last pitch for me?
I have one last pitch for you, Jake. Allow me to set the stage, if I may. For those of you that don't know, I studied to be a pastor at the age of 19. I read the entire Old Testament at the age of 11, the entire Bible at the age of 13. I have since deconstructed, but that did not stop me at a young age.
Which testament is better?
It's really up to personal preference. I think the Old Testament is far more fantastical. You know, you get dinosaurs and magic and necromancy. The Christians won't tell you that. The Christmas celebrators won't tell you that. But the New Testament is a little bit boring. Outside of Revelation, which is basically the apocalypse, or
Revelation hits.
There were some hits, or the overtaking of Jerusalem. It really depends on whether or not you're pre-tribulation or you're pro-tribulation or anti-tribulation. There's a lot of theological disagreements. With that said, I'm not here to preach to you. I think that one of the most interesting parts of Scripture is the fantastical element of it, right? There is a very mythological element to Scripture, to Christianity, despite what you may or may not feel about it. If it is what you follow, that's excellent. But we have just about mythicized every other religion except Christianity, and I think that's a fucking mistake. And so today I'm here to mythicize Christianity. I will be reading a passage from the Scripture.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Literally.
I told you I was going to end this fucking podcast in 10 minutes.
I love this is how it's ending.
It's amazing. For those of you that don't know, Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. If you know Father Abraham had 2 children. 2 children. One of them being Isaac, and one of them being Ishmael. Ishmael was the product of Abraham's disbelief. Jesus fuck, Patrick.
The B-roll is just a Google image search for Father Abraham, and it's all the results.
God
very
damn
good.
It. God damn it. Abraham as Ishmael and a lack of faith. Ishmael is one of the most interesting characters in scriptures because he's damn near unaddressed. He's damn near untold about, which I find so interesting. It reads, basically, this is after Abraham sends Ishmael and his mother Hagar, who was an enslaved person of Abraham's, who he had sex with, to create Ishmael because he didn't believe God would give him a son in Isaac. This is after he sends Hagar and Ishmael away. It says, when the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under the bushes. Then she went off and sat down about a bow shot away. For she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And as she sat there, she began to sob. Essentially, Hagar, Ishmael's mother, thinks Ishmael's about to die. Abraham's a piece of shit. He literally sent them away with like a sack of water and said, don't die in the fucking desert. Abraham's a fucking shitter. Can we get fucking shitters in the chat? God heard the boy crying.
Speaking of books.
Jesus Christ. Fuck. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what's the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies here. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him in Egypt. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, this presents a very interesting question, and that's what becomes of Ishmael, one of the heirs of Abraham's lineage. And my answer is complete and utter fucking vengeance. Ladies and gentlemen, for my final fucking game, I present to you The Revenge of Ishmael.
Yes, I'm in.
Dude, it's about to get a lot more wicked. A lot of shit in scriptures is an Avengers level threat, and I'm tired of us acting like it isn't. This whole idea of Ishmael becoming an archer, I want you to imagine that your father goes and, I mean, just frankly, I mean, if we're being really honest within the biblical text, unconsensually has sex with your mother, who is an enslaved person in that time, creates you out of his lack of faith in this supposed God, and then goes and creates another kid and says, fuck you and your mother, go into the wilderness and fucking die. What the fuck's running through your head? Especially if the scripture that is implied, which is that he becomes an amazing archer, is true. I think Ishmael goes back and kills every fucking one. Ladies and gentlemen, I want this game, The Revenge of Ishmael, to be created by From Software. I want it to be indicative of scripture. I don't need it to be much more. I want this game to be a game about what Ishmael would have done after he was sent into the wilderness, with different bosses. Some of those bosses being Isaac, the son that Ishmael wished he was. Abraham, the father of both Isaac and Ishmael. Terah, the grandfather of Ishmael. And perhaps the one that's most exciting, god damn it, I need you guys to get ready. Lot and his fucking daughters. For those of you that don't know, there is a smut level interaction in scripture. It is a crazy I mean, it is smut, where Lot, after his wife dies and is turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back at the town, Sodom and Gomorrah, as they were being transported away by God, right? Turns into a pillar of salt, and Lot loses his wife, goes into a cave for like 20 fucking years with his daughters. And what does he do for those 20 years? He fucks his daughters. Folks, this is some Game of Thrones smut level shit. What do I want as one of the boss fights? I want Lot and fuck you, Patrick. I want Lot.
I actually love this.
It's so good. I want Lot in his long fucking robe, right? Starved, hungry, and I want his starved, ghoulish fucking daughters. Like imagine not Nightmare Before Christmas. What's the Jim Carrey fucking movie where he plays A Christmas Carol? Where he pulls back the fucking robe and his two ghoulish fucking daughters walk out. And they're going up to you, and that's one of the boss phases, is you gotta fight Lot's fucking daughters that he's been fucking for the last 20 years, and then the second phase is Lot just fucking swinging on you with a scythe. Listen, folks, I don't care what you say, all right? This is an interesting fucking concept. It's a Souls-like made by From Software, and I want to explore this mythological element of the good book, as they call it in the South, that it's just not been mythicized, right? Like, this is such an interesting idea, right? The amount of... I am going to get canceled for certain.
The game will be like, no, but it's like biblically accurate still.
Oh, the Christians aren't going to love it. The Christmas celebrators, as Jake calls them, aren't going to love it. But this idea of the complete injustice that is done to Ishmael and Hagar as they're sent into the wilderness, as a young person in the church, really confused me. I was like, this is so fucking sick. And if I were Ishmael, what would I do? And this is what the fuck I would do. I'd go kill Father Abraham and his many fucking sons. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you The Revenge of Ishmael, developed by From Software, a Souls-like, where you get to fight Lot and his fucking daughters, his ghoulish fucking daughters, after he's fucked them for 20 years. Jake, am I getting your fucking money?
I feel like I was put on this earth as a Jewish man to approve this. I don't know. I think it's funded, dude. I think it's funded. No, wrong graphic. Funded and not funded. It's very divisive. Christianity Souls-like is fucking crazy. Dante's in the chat says, I need an Ezio-like trilogy of Ishmael now, which would also be a good format.
Right. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
That's incredible. I love this. I love the commitment. That you should have came in with another outfit, though.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
You need like a cloak or something. I think everyone just wears cloaks back then.
You should have had a cloak to unveil your two daughters, and I'm not going to finish the sentence.
Please don't.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, dude.
For sure. Like, hired actresses.
There's some Game of Thrones level shit that goes on in the Bible, and the fact that it remains unaddressed is so interesting. Like, I really do believe that there's like a crazy fucking narrative outside of that mythological text that, when explored, would be extremely, extremely rewarding in a video game format, in any storied format. I mean, to clarify, I wrote this game 7 years ago. Like, I have an in-depth, bro. I have no. I'm not even kidding. I have a 100.
I know you're not kidding.
Podcast,
yeah, bro. You got on this podcast for this purpose.
I literally did. I have a 100-page composition notebook detailing every fucking boss fight. What Ishmael's powers are, bro. I'm not even kidding. Like, this was a whole fucking thing 7 years ago. I can't find it for the life of me. I almost whipped it out for the fucking pod. But here we are. I'm honored to know that I got your money, JakeTwitchin.
Sadina is fact-checking you in the chat, saying that the lot story is off. But fuck it, we fund.
Somebody pitched this to Kojima is also very good. I can't imagine not funding this. It's certainly the most inspired choice. Outside of my Cloverfield one, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Very passionate.
It was a crowd pleaser.
We love to see it. I'm in. I'll play it.
Fucking believable. Listen, this ended up being a lot of fun, and I got to shout out, of course, Kayla and Mori putting the team on their back live with some inspired pitches here, but also an honorable mention to our stupid chat. You're not stupid. I really should stop saying that. You guys are great. You're very good at everything you do. Everything was so well put together. I loved all the stuff that came up on the server. Everything that you guys put together on the drop in, drop out like thread. We do a thread every single week for you guys to have input. And this was such a beneficial one to have some deep dives and some quick elevator pitches in as well. You guys really made this show a great one, I think. I think the combination of what you all brought as a community as well as what my two co-hosts over here brought is very, very fucking good. Very good stuff. Very strong. But great now you've gotten this far. Great hosting. Hosting's easy as it turns out. But watch all this fucking housekeeping I'm about to do. Mori, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Spotlight on Tuesday nights on the Spotlight Games Pod Twitch channel. It's a great time over there. Obviously, you'll find me on all sorts of content on this channel. So if you like crazy pitches like fucking Bible mythos games, fuck around, give us a follow, and hang out a little longer. Yeah.
Very, very good. Kayla, what about you?
I think you just tossed it to me, but my AirPods just stopped working. Hold on back in. I think they are. Okay, perfect. Yep. You can find me if you liked my pitch of my book game. You can I think their account at Palettes and Pages on all platforms and anywhere else. Dropoutpod.com, and you can find everything else that I'm a part of.
Dropoutpod.com. The only thing she cut out for was the brief thing saying that her personal account is Palettes and Pages. I'll fill in the blanks for you. Thank you. Sweet chat and audio listeners. You are too good to us. Dropoutpod.com for all of your wants, needs, and yearnings. Drop in, drop out related. Patrick, do you have anything to pitch while you're here? And come out from behind the scenes. Excellent job with the B-roll. Audio listeners, if you didn't have a chance this time around, there were some very funny visual gags included as well. Worth a second watch through or watch along if you didn't see it, if you're listening on the audio version. If you're listening on the video version, maybe subscribe to the audio version too. It helps us.
Do I have anything to pitch? No.
Wow.
Or
We love
Clicker
this
Bait
shit.
Mondays on JK Games Podcast, twitch.tv/.
Yes, we love to see it. I'm JakeTwitchin on all platforms, but just go to dropindropoutpod.com, your portal for finding everything. Come hang out live. If you're not part of the live show, you're missing out on quite a bit. Incredible crowd today. Listen, it's very important not to look at numbers when you're recording, but I look at them entirely all too much, and we were off the charts today. This is probably pound for pound outside of our first big like blowout, everybody here announcing the show episode, our best turnout for live chatters, and that really makes the show a better show. So in the off time, you can find us on all of our respective pages. We are doing 2 episodes a week, if you will, right now going forward. I just won't tell you when the other one's going to be because we typically don't know. Drop in, drop out is Thursday nights around 8 p.m., usually a little bit later Eastern time. And then we go live another night as well to either play a video game or have a messy podcast and just connect with you guys a little bit more. That's all I've got for you. I think that's everything. We're now going to wave at the camera and say goodbye until the recording ends.